Hey, what's up, everyone? And today we are going to be covering the top 5 mistakes that crypto investors make when investing in cryptocurrency and blockchain companies. Hi, my name is Ryan, and you are watching Crypto Grinders. Crypto Grinders is an established education, blockchain, and cryptocurrency company where we educate the masses about everything and anything involving investing and trading in cryptocurrencies. Welcome to the channel. So, if you were someone who is starting out, or you're someone who has left the space and intending to come back, I think this episode is definitely suited for you. Because as an investor, personally myself, I think I've always felt that if I were to stop making the mistakes that others make, I have a better chance at making money as opposed to someone who doesn't have the right knowledge or skill set. So today, I'll be covering these top 5 mistakes that crypto investors always make, even until now. And you'd be surprised that some of these investors are still making these mistakes. So let's get into it right now. Firstly, I think the number one thing that most crypto investors make is not having the right knowledge. Now, having the right knowledge to invest in this space is so important because it's not just a simple join an exchange, put in my BTC, and click the buy button. If it was really that simple, right, there will be many millionaires made already. Okay, but it's really not that simple. So let me just share with you how this is going to be done. So when you say not enough knowledge, Ryan, what do you mean? What do you mean by not enough knowledge? I'm already someone who has been in the space. I bought my very first Bitcoin pre-2017. I know how to store my Bitcoins. I already know how to do some trading. What is there that you still can teach me? Let me just go through this in its entirety so that you will realize that there's more to it than meets the eye. Okay, so firstly, when starting out, yes, all these basic things from having the right exchange to knowing which, by the way, buying cryptocurrency with fiat and buying digital assets, that means crypto to crypto, are two different platforms because there are times that certain digital asset platforms do not have other cryptocurrency pairings, right? Because they are function in a very different manner. So first and foremost, if you decide to go into this space, make sure that you arm yourself with basic knowledge first. So let me cover the simple stuff first, then I'll gradually move up. So we're still at point number 1. So firstly, you have to have a Coinbase account, okay? So this is a very basic. I started buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrency at least online with Coinbase. I never bought via any other means. I started with Coinbase. Anyway, if you are someone who has never ever used this platform before, it is the most popular platform at the moment, and using Coinbase is the safest and simplest, right? You just sign up, do your verification, and I think it's very important to do your verification, guys, because these days exchanges, crypto exchanges like Coinbase are very, very strict. I'm sure that if you are in another country, there's always another platform to use. But bear in mind, don't think that every single platform is credible. Always, please use a reputable cryptocurrency exchange, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you use a exchange that is shady, or you've never heard about it before and they're offering a lot of bonuses and whatnot, it kind of gets very dangerous, okay? Yes, and people get attracted by all these little referral programs, incentives, and sometimes they make the mistake, and when they deposit their Bitcoins, right, that could actually be very detrimental because the site could be a phishing site. So I'll cover that in a later point in the video, okay? So right now, Coinbase is the most popular, and at the same time, it's just the easiest to use, where you just connect your bank account or your credit card, depending on the region you are at, and of course, you sign up. Simple as that. Links are in my referral link, if you want to help me out, is in the description below, the Coinbase referral link. So that is done. So the next thing, after you already start up the exchange, okay, you bought your very first Bitcoin, okay, it's very simple. You are going to want to learn about the space. Now, I'm not going to get you into trading first, but it is always good to at least start up your digital asset to asset exchange account first. So right now there are two very popular crypto exchanges. One is Binance, the other one is Huobi. Okay, so Binance and Huobi. Binance, of course, right now is the most popular, and then after that, I think in other parts of the world we have OKX, because that's in probably in Korea. But I think internationally you have Bitcoin exchange, which is Binance, and Huobi. So these are the ones that crypto grinders uses all the time. It's relatively easy. It's a very simple interface. It can be very overwhelming for someone who's very new, but of course, if you're very experienced, not a problem. So these are the various exchanges that are available at the moment. So same thing, links are in the description below. You need to perform KYC up to the amount that you feel the most comfortable to do your withdrawal. And usually that is at level 2 or level 3, depending on your requirements of how much you plan to withdraw per day. Usually most cryptocurrency exchanges are pretty lenient. They don't require you to provide any form of identification until you are planning to withdraw more than 1 or 2 BTC per day. But in the meantime, if you're trading less than that, especially if you're very new, which I'll be covering again later, you don't have to start big. That's the beautiful thing, okay? And I'm going to be making sure that you guys are going to get the most value from this episode. And mostly I cover all this in my basic course, which is free as well. If you join our free Telegram group, you are able to get that full course, which is everything that is there for free. But that is going to take you quite a number of hours to complete. This episode will give you kind of like a crash course of everything. Okay, so same thing, Binance and Huobi. So that's done. Same thing, links are in the description below. So now we are going to we are now going to cover the knowledge part, and I think the knowledge part is what everyone tends to skip. Okay, why? Because somehow I think people want to quickly jump in and get into the whole investing and trading without the knowledge. That is extremely dangerous. And I think right now, as the market is close to the bottom, okay, now this is non-financial advice. It's just how we feel, and we've been in the space since early 2016. The channel started in 2017. We are very, very familiar, and we are just in tune with the market. Are we having a crystal ball? No. We do not know how long this bear market will last, but we are very certain that, at least for us, we know that, okay, more or less, we feel that it's at the bottom. Could it drop some more? We're not going to discuss that. Could it go up? We're not going to discuss that. We're only going to give you the game plan so that you don't make the mistakes that everyone is making outside of the space. So right now, knowledge. Apart from signing up, buying Bitcoin, and then after that going to buy, it's really not that simple. I want to make sure that you are armed to the teeth with as much basic knowledge as possible so that you are going to appreciate the space and stay invested. Staying invested meaning that you are going to be part of this space as long as I am, if not longer. Okay, so the very first thing is just to give you a few books that I have read that have helped me so much to not only learn about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, mining, whatever. I think all these things are very important. So the very first book is called The Internet of Money. This is by Andreas Antonopoulos. You can go and watch his YouTube videos. He is someone who provides a lot of simple analogies about how the space works. Okay, and I think he's one of the early mentors, I would say, or teachers in this space. So I am having no sponsorship for sharing about his book. This is basically the value that I've gotten from him, and I want to make sure that you guys know about this book. So he has two books. One is volume 1, the other one is volume 2. So these two books, right, are focused on helping you understand the space. And because books are important, or at least learning how to read about them, learning to read about this space is so important that if you miss out sometimes on certain details, right, and you cannot catch the space fast enough, right, it's okay. You don't have to really catch the space because things are happening all the time around you. And it may seem fast, but actually it's very slow. So just take note on that. In these books, he covers that actually this space, right, has a long way to go, and at the same time, in terms of security and functionality, speed, all these things are interlinked, and sometimes they have to you have to give up one aspect in order to have something better. So, for example, if you are focusing on speed, you have to give up a certain level of security, meaning that the network can be centralized or allowing fewer nodes to kind of manage the whole network. Now, you see, I think if you're someone who's very new, you wouldn't know what is a node. So all these things will be covered in these books. The moment you read this, you'll get up to speed. Now, after that, you're probably going to be wondering, this whole space, why was it even created? This whole space was created for many reasons. One is that it's going to provide a different level of architecture. Okay, now, wow, architecture. Oh, that's a very long word. No, it's not. It's just another layer as a protocol to either enhance or completely change how a business functions in terms of the way it automates, the way it secures their data. Okay, so that's all it is. Blockchain is like that. It also has a different way of transferring information, or in this case, money. It doesn't matter how it is going to be implemented by particular companies. But if you want to find out more, okay, like how I did, I felt that this book was very helpful. This is The Business Blockchain by Willem Maguire. He covers the various use cases that companies could use blockchain. And since this whole space is all about companies or blockchain companies or cryptocurrency companies providing enterprise solutions for companies, and of course eventually these companies will create those solutions for us, it is good to kind of at least read about it. Okay. Last but not least, the final book that I want to cover is Crypto Assets. This is a book where I would say is a little bit dated, okay, but at least it gives you a good rundown on how Chris Bernstein, he kind of evaluates cryptocurrencies, because he's a hedge fund guy. Okay, he has his own crypto fund, right? And he basically was working in I think other hedge funds prior to writing this book, because there was no way, and until now there's still very little cryptocurrency or digital asset cryptocurrency or blockchain companies that have started to generate revenue that they are openly declaring. Guys, crypto companies, right, even though this is the part where it kind of becomes a little bit challenging, because when you invest in stocks every quarter, okay, let me talk about traditional stocks first to give you a little bit of history here. Traditional stocks have quarterly earnings seasons. Prior to the earnings seasons, they have to do their accounts, right? When they get their accounts done and their books audited by, of course, the any kind of any licensed accounting and auditing firm, they are showing their company's profit and loss. It's showing everything: how much they make, what did they buy, how much cash do they have, whether they have any cash at all. All these things, and of course, how much sales and revenue, how much dividends will they give from their profit. All these things are being declared. That right till now, there are very, very few crypto or blockchain companies that practice this level of transparency. And the reason is they cannot do that, or they don't have to do that, because a large part of this whole space claims that they are not a security. Okay? So this is the part where knowledge comes in, and it's very important, because SEC, Jay Clayton, has mentioned that actually majority of cryptocurrency and blockchain companies fall under a security. So there's a lot of implications with that sentence alone. So it's just a matter of time, and right now there's a lot of investigations that are going through. I don't want to scare you, but I have to arm you with the knowledge that this could happen. And there are implications with doing that. So all this is usually covered, and all this very intense stuff is covered in my Premier group, which is something that I've created ever since 2017. So it's more of helping you guys really immerse yourself. That means you are someone who really wants to stay invested in this space. The Premier group is definitely for you. But I do not want you to join it yet, because if you come in blank, it's going to be very difficult. Because the members are already at an intermediate to advanced level. I highly suggest that you just go through this whole episode and go through all the free resources first, then you join. Okay, you don't have to join now. Okay, so back to the part about the knowledge. So we're still on point number 1. Can you imagine that? So right now, after you have identified, and armed yourself with at least a good basic knowledge about blockchain and cryptocurrency, you probably want to start going to look into hunting, or at least hunting. But before you hunt, you have to have a game plan on how much money you are going to put into this space. Okay, money is the most important thing that a lot of people kind of fail to look at. One thing, not many have a financial advisor, and I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I'm just very certain that not many people have a licensed financial advisor advising them on a regular basis. Therefore, they do not know how much should I put in. And the worst thing is that they go and ask the free groups. To ask the free groups is the most dangerous thing. Okay, I know that this internet free world, you tend to want to just put your question out there and hopefully someone answers. Okay, you think that this is like Google, where you go into a free group, hey guys, I'm new here, and you expect that someone gives you a very constructed answer. There are some groups that can do that. There are some groups that have malicious intent and will not tell you the right thing. They will give you a very troll answer. Try not to do that. Arm yourself first. Okay, I think the best thing that this episode you're going to take away is that you're going to be definitely much more knowledgeable than you were compared to when you first started this episode. So don't ever ask how much should you invest. Go and start planning for yourself. If you are someone who has, so you fall either in two categories. You have invested in traditional markets before, or you have never invested before in anything. Okay, in anything. So since you fall into these two categories, let me just break it down. If you are someone who has already invested in traditional markets, stock market, you've traded derivative products, okay, you are definitely a little bit more advanced. Whether you were successful or not is beside the point. Right now, at least you are exposed. You would already at least figure out how much you want to put in and risk. And I think this space, being that it's very, very young, you cannot risk more than 1 to 5%. I personally am only putting in 1 to 5% of my total assets. Okay? In a sense that when I say assets, meaning that liquid, cash, stocks, gold, or whatever kind of investments, right? I'm only putting 1 to 5% in this crypto market because it is still too young. It is still figuring out its regulatory guidelines. I do not want to risk more than I can chew. Okay? And you have to ask yourself the next question. Do I have the money to sustain being invested? And if I lose this money because I made a bad call, what am I going to do? Is it going to cripple me? Is it going to stop me from paying my bills? Is it going to affect my emotion and my life and my lifestyle that I'm having, or the lifestyle of others? You have to ask yourself all these questions, because a lot of people during the euphoria period, and I'm glad to do this episode right now, because right now there's very little euphoria. That is when people start to listen to you and they start reflecting, because they know that right now there's no hype. They are willing to listen. If I was to do this episode when the markets were charging upwards, nobody would watch this episode because nobody thinks that they are going to make a mistake. Okay, so that's cleared. I hope that I made myself very, very, very clear. Now the next thing is, what is the strategy that you are adopting? Should I go in with a lump sum? Because if you're a much older, more matured individual, you would definitely have more of a nest egg in the bank. Or should I go for a dollar cost averaging approach? I personally am adopting a dollar cost averaging approach. Why is this so? This can be a little bit technical, but I think I need to emphasize this. Order books these days for most cryptocurrencies are very, very thin. Let me just show you. Okay, let me just illustrate. Okay, now if you go into, let's just go into any exchange just for the sake of example. Okay, and when I'm now, let's say I'm in my Huobi, I go to exchange. Okay, you see these order books here. Okay, now Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that has a decently healthy volume. What do I mean? You have a daily 24-hour volume that you can see here. Okay, this is okay for someone who is starting out. But if you are someone who plans to go really all in and big, I highly advise against it. Because one, we do not know whether or not Bitcoin is already at a consolidated price. We do not know that. If anyone can tell you that they definitely know that it has bottomed, okay, you kind of should shoot that person. I mentioned that we feel that it has bottomed. Okay, I didn't guarantee that it has bottomed. So just really listen carefully. No one knows that. Okay, the next thing is that when you look at these order books, you know that for a fact that there's practically not enough volume to even buy 10,000 worth of Bitcoin. There is, okay, you could, but sometimes when you want to fulfill your order, you're going to activate the bots or the trading bots to kind of move up the price. So it's either you put in the order and you walk away, or you're going to be someone who is going to be chasing the price because your order is huge. Start small. Starting small is the best thing that you can do in this space. You don't have to care whether other people are buying more than you, and do not listen to the stories of, wow, I bought this amount and I wish I had done more because today I'm already up 5x, 10x, 20x. Ignore these stories for now. This episode is about you. It's all about you. You don't have to care whether that person is going to make millions because he was probably lucky or he's been in the space longer than you. He is more knowledgeable than you. So that is why I mentioned back to point number one, always be more knowledgeable. Have as much knowledge as possible. So right now, we are looking at the fact that the order books are very thin. If you start looking at the top 10 cryptocurrencies, they are still struggling in terms of liquidity. So if you are someone who's going in big, you may get stuck. What if the markets are not favorable and you try to sell, you cannot sell? So you have to make sure that you look at the order books and also the type of cryptocurrency. Is it offering US dollars? Is it offering a stable coin called US dollar tether? Is it considering having other stable coin pairings? How much liquidity is available in those cryptocurrencies? Same thing, all those are covered in my basic course. You don't have to panic, like whatever I'm talking about may seem alien, but at least I have to let you visualize. So going in small is actually very good. In fact, if you're someone who has $50, $100, and if $50 and $100 is too much, you can move it downwards. Even $20 is fine. You know, all these, I'm not giving you a figure, I'm just giving examples, okay? And the beauty of it is that right now, an individual who doesn't make much, who doesn't earn much, can participate in this space. Now, right now, I think it's always been time, money, okay? Time, money, and of course, knowledge. Time, money, and knowledge are the main things that most people always are struggling with. People who have a lot of time tend to not have a lot of money, okay? People who have a lot of money tend to not have a lot of time. Naturally, if you have both, that means you are doing something right in your life, okay? To give you that flexibility to do that. But like I said, majority of the people fall into the first two categories. Either you have one or the other, and usually you're struggling to kind of balance both. So this is the part where, okay, the next and the third point is investing without a plan. Because when you invest without a plan, that's when it gets very, very dangerous. What are you going to buy, Ryan? What are you going to buy? Then you start searching on YouTube, and then you see a lot of YouTubers. What am I buying? What to buy in 2019? These are my top 5 choices. Okay, great. It's okay to follow and just start to get information, because YouTube is one of the best resources for at least this space. Now, one of the most active resources. Whether is it the best, no one really knows. But yes, there are credible channels out there that have been around a while, but most of them are focusing on technical analysis, not too much on the fundamentals. Because everybody tends to say, when in a market like this, there's zero fundamentals. Everything is all manipulated, blah, blah, blah. Whether is it manipulated or not, that's not your concern. Your concern is that make sure that you know what you're going to get yourself involved in. So investing with a plan, as I mentioned, understand your risk profile. What kind of risk profile are you? What's your time horizon that you are planning to stay invested? And last but not least, how much and how often are you going to contribute to build up that portfolio? Okay, so these are the things when it comes to investing. Now, the next thing is we want to cover is your not enough money in the bank. Okay, so right now you see this episode, you see this video. Okay, just now I covered the episode, I covered the point where you already have an investing plan, but you also have money, but you're also asking others what to buy. So I already said, never ask others what to buy. Right now, if you are someone who is not having any money, you're struggling with money, I highly suggest you follow my episode about bedroom to boardroom. Because bedroom to boardroom, that particular episode or that series is something to help you to build your funds. Whether you're going to be invested in crypto or not, it doesn't matter. I think having money is very important. It gives you more options to do more things. And in that particular series, I talk nothing about crypto, but I talk about building a business and having a high income skill. Because if you don't have a high income skill and you're working a 9-to-5 job, nothing wrong to work a 9-to-5 job. It is just that sometimes it is just enough to pay your bills and you have nothing left behind to invest. So I've always been having this question, Ryan, I don't have enough money. Ryan, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money to join your premium group. I don't even have enough money to buy your advanced course. I've been in that situation before. I really know how it feels like to say this. And sometimes when I look at that, and when I look at these people, I look at myself, because I know at that point I was struggling big time. So what did I do? I used my existing professional skills, and I was able to exchange that for money. I was able to do consultancy for people who had portfolios, who wanted to invest in this space, and I provided my recommendations, not my investment advice, but my recommendations on how I tackled this space. So they were paying me not for legal or financial advice, they were consulting me because I knew how to make money in this space or how I navigated in this space. But that was coupled with my knowledge as a banker for 6.5 years and 10 over years of sales experience that I was able to execute this really seamlessly. You have a skill. You must never doubt for the fact that you are someone who could be a designer. You could be someone who is good at sales. You're great at creating or you're great at writing. You're good at music, for example, okay, or you're someone who is great at dance. All these things, right, can come together, and you have to think of how you can earn a side gig income. You need to think of a side gig, side hustle. You cannot come back and every day watch YouTube and hope that you're going to make money. That's another thing. Maybe you could start doing a YouTube channel and start earning some money from Google Ads. But That's also a whole new ball game. But you have to learn. Back to point number one, knowledge. Do I know how to make money on YouTube, for example, or do I know how to make money in consultancy? So that's why the bedroom to boardroom series is going to be specifically on how to make money. It doesn't matter about whether you make money in crypto space. It's just how to make more money so that I can do more things. Okay, so that's going to be that episode. So, okay, the last but not least, point number 5 is security. I think security is something that Crypto Grinders has never overlooked. But I talk very little about it because security tends to be a little bit more boring. But it is essential. When you are in crypto, you need to be able to secure your coins. The moment you lose your coins, and this is from a very this is someone who I consider like a big brother in the space to me, and his name is Tyzen. He runs the cryptocurrency markets together with Leon Fu. He always emphasizes the moment you lose your coins, you are out of the game. Okay? And he's right. If you lose your coins, you are out of the game. There are times when it's not even your fault. Because, for example, let's say, I give you a few examples. You are now trading on Coinbase. You have only ever used Coinbase, but somehow, someone actually replicated the Coinbase website. Okay? Somehow you saw an email and there was an offer and you clicked on it. Hey, it looks like the Coinbase site. Sign up now for 50% more BTC when you deposit your fiat or deposit your BTC. And if you're someone who knows none the wiser, right, you won't check the URL. Okay? You won't check the URL. You will see everything looks kind of the same. And then that's when you sign in and you fell for the phishing trap. Okay? And you key in your sensitive details, your username, your password, and that's it. And the hacker already has access, at least to con you to put in your coins. Okay, that's one way of losing it. Another way is that exchanges potentially. I'm not saying that exchanges get hacked, but yes, they do get hacked once in a while. Okay, and it's about how they handle the hack. That part you cannot do anything about. But there are parts that you should handle. For example, when you are having an exchange, make sure you have the 2FA. That means it's either secured by Google Authenticator or Auth. So these are apps that you can download from the App Store or the Play Store. Apple Store, App Store or Apple Store or the Play Store. And it's a two-factor authenticator, a 2FA as they call it. This is an additional layer of security. The higher level, which most good exchanges are encouraging you, is also to have SMS. So when you have an SMS, it may be troublesome, guys, but it will save your coins, man. Okay? You're going to have to put in your mobile number, and whenever you are planning to do a withdrawal, they will send you an SMS, and you have to key in your 2FA number. So this number of the 2FA will flash every 1 minute, and a new number will appear. The moment that it cannot, and also it will also send a verification code to your email. So 3 layers, okay, in order to withdraw. Because when you deposit, as long as it's not a phishing site, that means it's a fake site, you are fine. But if let's say it was a phishing site, okay, you have to kind of have a sense of all these things, okay, and that's why always double check the URL. Okay, double check the URL, and that's why a community is very important, because that way you can say, hey guys, this URL looks a little bit off. Can you validate this? See, these are the things that you have to be very, very cautious. And also, there are times when people don't realize that that is a fake site. Okay, then next thing, like I said, okay, after you have secured your account, that's on an exchange. Do you leave it on the exchange? This part, I would say that this is how we do it. We always leave a portion, okay, of our crypto BTC or whatever on the exchange, but the rest we keep in a cold wallet. And a cold wallet is where it's absolutely secure, or at least it's as secure as possible, because you require, so a cold wallet looks something like this. Personally, I use a ledger. Okay, I use a ledger. There are people who use Trezor. There's KeepKey. There's quite a number. There's Kobo wallet these days, but I haven't actually. And this is a very simple. This is a very simple. This is a very simple cold wallet. Now, if you think about it, these days, this is simple to use. Okay, you can store your cryptocurrencies, and at the same time, you have all your passphrases that are kind of hard to hack unless they personally know you. Okay, unless they personally know you, they put a gun to your head, and then they literally want to jack you for it. But obviously, you're not going to walk around all the time with it. Okay, right now the space is still very primitive, so there's no need for that. Okay. Okay, another hack that most people that fall prey to is the SIM swap. Okay, the SIM swap is where they jack your, because there's someone in the comments that's saying SMS is not secure. To a certain extent, that is quite true, because let's say if you went to repair your phone, or somehow they were able to get your details and they called your telco company, and they say, hey, I actually lost my phone, I lost my SIM card, and the telephone company will do the verification. Okay, and they will say, okay, so Mr. So-and-so, can I have your full name, your address, and your date of birth to just verify you? That person obviously is an operator. He doesn't know how you actually sound all the time. There's no way. Okay, there's no way. So what happens is that, after there's a verification that happens, they do a SIM swap. That meaning that it will disable the existing one, and then after that it moves to, basically they will reissue a new SIM card to that individual, and then they can jack you. There's another thing where they can clone, but that's getting more and more complicated. So all these things, right, can happen to an individual. The last one I must say is maybe very simple, but a lot of people have fallen prey. Never ever log into your account via the cafe Wi-Fi or a hotel Wi-Fi. Okay, don't even try. Okay, don't even try, because you don't even know whether there's someone who can hack the network, or there's someone who is in that crypto conference, and you go in, today I want to buy some of this particular project's tokens. You log in, and then the next thing you know, most of your accounts get compromised because there was a hacker present. And especially when you're in a crypto related space, hackers are always going to be around, right? They already know how to tap into the network and intercept your login and details, and after that, the next thing you know, you get hacked. So never ever, my friends, try not to do that. I mean, look, you can do it via 4G, but even I tend to not do that. Hence, being an investor does have its benefits, because you don't have to react to the market all the time. So, guys, that is more or less the end of the episode. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this episode. Don't make these 5 mistakes, and especially if you can learn as much about the space as possible. Like I said, this channel is meant to educate the layman about cryptocurrencies and blockchain. If you felt that this video was helpful, don't forget to give it a like and a thumbs up, and share this video, especially to those who want to get into the space, guys, because if we want adoption, more and more people should know about this space. And last but not least, don't forget to give me a nice subscribe if you felt that it was helpful, and don't forget to click on the notification bell if you want to see my next stream. All the resources and links are below. See you in the next stream, guys.